Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Renegade Immortal based on novel. So let's start. 1 month later, Wang Lin walked out of a transfer array far away from Zhao. He muttered, with the appearance of the rain cauldron, the opening of the heavens gate shouldn't be far away. Although I have just reached the soul formation stage, and am still far from the soul transformation stage, there is still a chance. Once I reach the soul transformation stage, Sichunan will be able to wake up. He once said that he was the #1 cultivator in Suzaku, so he must know about the cultivation planet crystal. He should be able to help me obtain this treasure. It's just that I don't know if I can also revive Mom and Dad once I reach the soul transformation stage, but my domain is the life and death domain. The more I understand the reincarnation cycle, the more I understand how difficult it is to go against it. This goal of reviving my parents will be very difficult to achieve. Wang Lin let out a sigh. Forget it. Let's worry about this later. If there really is no way to revive them, then I'll find them a place to re-enter the reincarnation cycle. This affection is still not repaid. At this moment, Wang Lin still needed to refine another restriction flag. There was only one inkstone left, so he had to use it carefully, and could not let it be damaged. Wang Lin had tried to repair the damaged restriction flag, but wasn't able to. It could now only be used to summon the divine retribution. In addition to all of this, although I have already reached the soul formation stage, I have far too few magic treasures. The celestial realm could open up any time now, so I must be prepared. I must obtain this celestial spiritual energy. Wang Lin made a decision and removed the thought of returning to Chu for now. He immediately stopped and thought for a while, then clenched his teeth and slapped his bag of holding. The mosquito beast immediately came out and circled him a few times. Wang Lin jumped onto the back of the beast and sent out a message to the mosquito. The mosquito let out a sound as it waved its proboscis, but it didn't move forward. Instead, it looked as if it were trying to please Wang Lin. This expression looked very strange on this beast. If anyone else were to see this, they would be terrified. After all, this beast just looked too scary. Wang Lin faintly smiled. He took out a few pills and threw them forward. The mosquito beast immediately revealed a smile and flew forward and devoured the pills. Just like this, Wang Lin continued to throw out pills and the mosquito beast kept flying forward. Soon, that bottle of pills was empty. Wang Lin rubbed the beast's head and said, "Okay, you little brat. No more pills for you today. If you fly faster today, I'll give you more tomorrow." The mosquito beast let out a roar as it moved like lightning across the sky. Along the way, Wang Lin felt rather pleased. His revenge was complete, and his cultivation level had reached a new height. This made him feel very happy. Wang Lin let out a laugh that filled the heavens. The mosquito beast below him seemed to notice this and roared with him. As the two voices became louder and louder, they caused the cultivation country below them to become very alert. Several divine senses came to check, but the moment they noticed Wang Lin's cultivation level and the beast below him, they immediately withdrew and didn't dare to disturb them. At this moment, in a human city in the cultivation country below Wang Lin, a messy-looking old man, with a smile on his face, said to a little foundation establishment cultivator, "Little brother, I see that you are very talented and filled with energy. You are by no means a normal person. However, without guidance, I'm afraid you have no hope in reaching the core formation stage." The little cultivator stared at the old man and shouted, "Scram! If you keep blocking my path, don't blame me for being merciless." The messy old man said, "TSK TSK," and pointed at the sky toward Wang Lin. "You see him? That little kid was only at nascent soul cultivator when I met him, but now he has reached the soul formation stage. How about it? Do you want me to call him down to prove it to you?" The little cultivator let out a cold snort and looked at the black dot that had already flown into the distance and said, "Scram." With that, he pushed the old man aside and walked away. Time quickly passed and in the blink of an eye, 1 month had gone by. Wang Lin sat on the back of the mosquito beast as they passed through one transfer array after another before finally reaching the Sea of Devils. In the past few decades, there had been constant war inside the Sea of Devils. With the attacks of several cultivation countries and the retaliation of the demonic cultivators, the war had reached a stalemate. Wang Lin's goal was the land of the ancient god. After obtaining the inheritance of memory, He had a technique that would allow him to enter and leave the place at will. Wang Lin thought for a long time. Only there would he be able to complete the restriction flag without triggering divine retribution that would destroy the flag. Aside from that, there were a lot of spirit beasts and even desolate beasts there. Wang Lin wanted to catch one. He wanted to do everything to prepare himself for when the gate opens to the Rain Celestial Realm. He even had plans to visit the foreign battleground to gather enough wandering souls. Wang Lin predicted that as long as he doesn't enter the first trial, Ta Sen won't be able to detect him. Even if Ta Sen could, with Wang Lin's cultivation level, he would still be able to leave before getting caught. Now that he had this idea, he put on the straw hat he got from the messy old man and charged directly toward the land of the ancient god. Under the effect of the straw hat, some of the weaker cultivators didn't even dare to obstruct him and let him pass through. The war in the Sea of Devils never stopped. Although there weren't any large-scale battles like many years ago, there were still small fights occurring everywhere. However, all of these fights were controlled, so only core formation cultivators and below participated. Nascent soul cultivators rarely entered these fights. It seemed that both sides were storing their power for the next big fight. Thus, no one bothered to stop Wang Lin at all. Although some soul formation cultivators spread out their divine senses, once they noticed Wang Lin, they let him pass. Wang Lin's speed was very fast. If there were any beasts that dared to block his path, the mosquito beast would rush up and devour their core. After several days of passing through transfer arrays, he arrived at the inner part of the Sea of Devils. Just as he walked out of the transfer array, he noticed a battle nearby. After checking it with his divine sense, he no longer cared about it and took out his map jade. He checked his current location before moving again. The chaotic broken stars were 100,000 miles to the east. As he flew, he suddenly frowned as he noticed a red cloud charging towards him. The old man stared at Wang Lin. He was shocked. After looking at the straw hat for a bit, the old man slapped the dragon turtle below him. The dragon turtle quickly moved past Wang Lin and headed east. At this moment, even the old man became cautious as this mysterious person was covered in a golden light that caused even his divine to back away in pain, so he didn't want to offend Wang Lin. And in his view, for someone to have this kind of treasure, they must at least be at the soul formation stage. He didn't want to start a fight with a soul formation cultivator for no reason. Wang Lin frowned as he saw that the old man was headed east. He pondered for a bit before moving east as well. For soul formation cultivators who had mastered shift movement, which was much more powerful than nascent soul cultivators' teleportation, by becoming one with the earth, 100,000 miles wasn't much. Soon, Wang Lin saw the unique rings of the chaotic broken stars. The ring continued to move in a mysterious way according to some ancient formation that was set here long ago. However, Wang Lin felt that the rings were different from before. There was a mysterious power from the heavens that didn't belong in this world that allowed the rings to produce avatars far more powerful than the ones before. The old man was no longer on top of the dragon turtle. He was looking at the chaotic broken stars. He seemed to notice Wang Lin's arrival, but only took one look at him before withdrawing his gaze. According to Wang Lin's speed, the old man was sure that Wang Lin was a soul formation cultivator. Wang Lin's gaze was calm. After pondering for a while, he found a place to sit down. Although he closed his eyes and appeared to be cultivating, his divine sense was still on guard. He wanted to see what the old man's real goal was. If the old man was going into the land of the ancient god too, he wouldn't go in first, but wait until after the old man had entered. The old man looked at Wang Lin again and suddenly said, "Since fellow cultivator is here too, then I believe you are here to collect some aurora fire. How about the two of us enter together?" The old man let out a snort and carefully looked at Wang Lin before turning back toward the ring of the chaotic broken stars. The old man slapped the dragon turtle, and it let out a roar at the chaotic broken stars that shattered the debris. Although it was silent, the ring was pushed in and the debris was moved out of the way. The old man jumped onto the hand of the turtle dragon. The turtle dragon took a deep breath, and all of the surrounding spiritual energy was sucked into its mouth. Then the beast let out another roar. This time, a visible sound wave was seen right before it smashed through the ring. A 100-meter wide tunnel appeared inside the ring and all of the debris was turned to dust. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He was surprised at the power of this beast, but he wasn't afraid of it if it were ever to come to a real fight. After all, from what he had seen, the attack was linear, and with how nimble Wang Lin was in a fight, how could he let the beast hit him with that kind of attack? The old man charged out and followed closely behind the roar like an arrow. In the blink of an eye, he was almost within 100 meters of the ring. Shortly after, the debris in the ring formed clones of the old man. The old man didn't panic. He slapped his bag of holding and more than 10 pieces of jade flew out. The jades circled the old man and flew out at the clones just as they charged at him. Every single jade quickly flew at each of the clones. Then the jades exploded into clouds of silver, dust that mysteriously turned into clones of the old man as well. As a result, the scene in the ring of the chaotic broken stars became very crazy. The old man used the clones formed by the jades to block the clones formed by the debris, then he used this moment to charge through the chaotic broken stars. The moment he went through, all of those clones formed by the jades silently disappeared. All of the clones formed by the debris let out angry roars as they disappeared as well. The old man turned around and looked at Wang Lin outside the ring. He let out a snort and waved his hand. The turtle dragon shrunk until it was a black light that flew towards him. However, the chaotic broken stars had no reaction to the black light at all. It allowed it to fly to the old man, before turning back into a turtle dragon. The old man jumped onto the back of the beast and went deeper. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He didn't immediately get up, but silently waited. This wait lasted for 7 days. As for the mosquito beast, Wang Lin didn't put it back into his bag. Instead, he let it roam around. The beast originally came from the Sea of Devils. Now that it was back at its home, it was very relaxed. After 7 days, the figure of the turtle dragon appeared again, with the old man sitting on top. Beside the old man were 7 thin, golden lights that were rapidly moving. But every time they tried to escape, there would be a light screen that blocked their path. The old man's eyes lit up. He was sure now that Wang Lin was a soul formation cultivator. After all, this aurora fire would devour a nascent soul, so only after forming their origin soul could one safely handle it. The old man let out a mischievous smile and said, "Since you don't want to team up, I'll take my leave." He slapped the beast below him and red clouds gathered again as he left. Wang Lin pondered a little, stood up, and looked at the golden line. But just at this moment, the mosquito beast appeared before him and started staring at the golden line. The mosquito beast's eyes revealed fear, but also greed. It was as if it wanted to eat it, but didn't dare to. Wang Lin was surprised as he looked at the obedient golden line around his finger. Then he asked the mosquito beast, "This thing is useful to you?" The mosquito struggled before finally gently nodding with its big head, but then he revealed a trace of fear. Wang Lin activated the death part of his domain and surrounded the golden line. A light appeared around the golden line, then it shivered and dimmed down, as it had become unstable. The mosquito beast revealed a joyous expression, as Wang Lin threw the golden line at him and the two collided. Suddenly, the golden line shivered and entered the mosquito beast's head. The mosquito beast let out a few miserable groans as it fell to the ground and began to struggle, but its eyes revealed joy. Wang Lin was very surprised as he stared at the mosquito beast. After 3 hours, the mosquito beast stopped struggling. Popping sounds came from its body and it grew larger. The mosquito beast was now 30 meters large, and could be considered a small hill. Its proboscis became even longer, making it look even more frightening. In reality, this aurora fire was a material for refining treasures that only soul formation cultivators could handle, as it would devour nascent souls to grow. Beasts normally stay far away from aurora fire. But this mosquito beast had followed Wang Lin for a while now, and after devouring so many pills, it had gone from a low-quality spirit beast to a mid-quality spirit beast, which was the same as a late-stage nascent soul cultivator. Originally, the mosquito beast couldn't fuse with the golden line, but after it was weakened by Wang Lin's death domain, it was able to be absorbed by the beast and strengthened it. Wang Lin stood up and slapped the mosquito beast. The beast immediately got the hint and returned to Wang Lin's bag. After a short period of time, Wang Lin passed through the ring of the chaotic broken stars. He could easily pass through when he was at the core formation stage. Before, these were only powerful restrictions, but now that they contained his domain, their power was several times stronger. These restrictions quickly spread out and soon, a large restriction formation that covered hundreds of meters took form. After he finished all of this, he arrived next to where the golden lines were. At this moment, the golden line seemed to notice and quickly backed away. In the blink of an eye, most of it had gone back inside. The mosquito beast panicked and started to roar, but didn't dare to move up. He only looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, then he reached out with his hand. He got a hold of the golden line and pulled it back hard. The golden line was pulled out by Wang Lin and furiously tried to escape. The death domain quickly activated and the golden line dimmed. He threw it into the air and the mosquito beast fused with it. At this moment, the rift that the golden line came from began to shrink. Seeing that it was about to disappear, Wang Lin sat down. His origin soul came out and quickly entered the rift. The moment his origin entered the rift, his eyes were blinded by a golden light. He saw a giant body that emitted a blinding golden light, and countless golden lines moved around within this space. Without a word, Wang Lin grabbed a handful of golden lines and stored them in his origin soul before quickly leaving through the rift. The moment his origin soul came out of the rift closed. The 10 or so golden lines in his hand dimmed under the power of his death domain, then he threw them at the mosquito beast. The mosquito beast revealed an excited look, but there were too many golden lines for it to devour at once. Wang Lin kept a bit of his death domain on the golden lines so they would remain in that state and said, "You can slowly eat them here. I'm going to make a trip into the land of the ancient god." With that, his body disappeared. When he reappeared, he was at the entrance to the land of the ancient god. After taking a deep breath, his eyes lit up, he clenched his teeth, and finally said a few words in the ancient god's tongue while forming seals with his hand. Suddenly, his body became blurred and then disappeared. Wang Lin appeared on top of a spinning stone pillar in the endless dark tunnel of the first trial. After coming back here, Wang Lin felt melancholy, but he was in a rush. He immediately sat down and sent out several restrictions before finally taking out the ink stone. He took a deep breath and then placed one attack restriction after another on the ink stone at a very quick pace. As time passed, more and more restrictions were placed on the ink stone. After he finished the initial steps, he took out a soul flag. After fusing the two together, he continued refining. Time slowly passed. Wang Lin didn't take his time, he refined as quickly as he could. One by one, restrictions landed on the flag, and after an unknown amount of time had passed, there were finally 999 restrictions on it. Only one more left for it to reach its first stage of completion. At this moment, Wang Lin began to hesitate. If his guess was wrong and the divine retribution lightning strikes, it would be very difficult to protect this flag. Once it was damaged, unless he could get more ink stones, he would have to get the one he had left with Li Muwen. If he stopped now, although the restriction flag would be weak, it wouldn't break. If he uses it carefully, then it could barely work. After pondering a little, his eyes lit up. If this restriction flag doesn't reach the first completion stage, then it would be too weak to be of any use in the Rain Celestial Realm. After he finished the initial steps, he took out a soul flag. After fusing the two together, he continued refining. Time slowly passed. Wang Lin didn't take his time, he refined as quickly as he could. One by one, restrictions landed on the flag, and after an unknown amount of time had passed, there were finally 999 restrictions on it. Only one more left for it to reach its first stage of completion. At this moment, Wang Lin began to hesitate. If his guess was wrong and the divine retribution lightning strikes, it would be very difficult to protect this flag. Once it was damaged, unless he could get more ink stones, he would have to get the one he had left with Li Muwen. If he stopped now, although the restriction flag would be weak, it wouldn't break. If he uses it carefully, then it could barely work. After pondering a little, his eyes lit up. If this restriction flag doesn't reach the first completion stage, then it would be too weak to be of any use in the Rain Celestial Realm. He clenched his teeth as his right hand formed the last restriction and placed it on the restriction flag. Suddenly, the flag shook as slivers of black gas came out of it, followed by a primitive aura. Wang Lin scanned it with his divine sense and was shocked. He knew that a pure attack restriction flag was going to be powerful, but after a quick check, he found out that it was more than 10 times stronger than it was before it was complete. As a result, this restriction flag was a threat to even soul formation cultivators. All of the restrictions had fused into one, and he could sacrifice 9 restrictions to use the restriction flag's spirit ability. This ability could restrain all of the spiritual energy in the heavens, and even the spiritual energy within cultivators, creating an area without any spiritual energy. As a result, unless the cultivator had celestial spiritual energy, anyone in its range would lose their ability to control spiritual energy for a short period of time. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he clenched the restriction flag. His confidence in this trip to the celestial realm greatly increased. As for the divine retribution lightning, it never came. Wang Lin was very excited as he knew he had won the gamble. The body of the ancient god was its own realm, so the divine retribution couldn't feel the existence of the restriction flag. He took a deep breath and continued to place restrictions on it. However, he wasn't able to reach the second completion stage as there weren't that many pure attack restrictions. This was the one key limiting factor of single attribute restriction flags. After placing 18 more sets of different restrictions onto the flag, Wang Lin let out a sigh. He had already done his best. If he wished to continue, then he would have to study more restrictions. This was the only way to increase the amount of pure attack restrictions. Wang Lin had already made up his mind to learn more restrictions in the future. Just at its first completion, the flag was already this powerful, so he was very hopeful to see what it will be like once it reaches its second completion. At that stage, it would probably be able to shock soul transformation cultivators. As Wang Lin thought about this, he became very excited. He put away the complete flag and took out the damaged one. After looking at it, he gave up on placing the last restriction on it. The main use for this flag will be to summon the divine retribution lightning. After completing the restriction flag, Wang Lin jumped up and flew toward the darkness of the tunnel. Wang Lin was very familiar with this area. After all, back then he had to slowly advance through this dangerous area. Even though he was doing it again, he didn't become careless and descended with caution. He picked this place to get a spirit beast, because although there weren't many here, all of them were far more powerful than the ones in the Sea of Devils. There were even some desolate beasts here. Of course, even Wang Lin wasn't willing to mess with those. He was after high-quality spirit beasts that were about the same as a soul formation cultivator. The reason he was picking a beast here was because he had a treasure called the Beast Trap. This trap would allow him to control any beast at the cost of a lot of spiritual energy. Wang Lin got the trap when he first arrived in the land of the ancient god from those ancient cultivators in exchange for helping them. In the years after, he had found some low-quality spirit beasts to test it on, which was why he was here now. It could be said that Wang Lin had prepared all he could in order to obtain celestial spiritual energy from the celestial realm. Once he catches a high-quality spirit beast, something on the same level as soul formation cultivator, it will help him out a lot. However, during this period of time, he will have to inject spiritual energy into the treasure to prevent the beast from breaking free. He had his divine sense spread out the entire time as he sank down, but he found no spirit beasts at all. This confused him greatly as he remembered that when he was this far in last time, he had already seen several spirit beasts. He pondered for a bit before continuing to sink down. He soon arrived at where that 10,000-meter dragon fell last time. Standing there, Wang Lin began to hesitate. If he were to continue to sink, then he might run into desolate beasts. But he didn't meet a single spirit beast on the entire way down. It seemed this trip was a waste. After pondering a bit more, he formed a seal to leave the land of the ancient god. After all, it was simply too dangerous to go farther. Wang Lin didn't want to risk too much just for a spirit beast. However, just as he formed the seal, two eyes like big pearls appeared in the darkness below him, then a red dragon suddenly charged out. Wang Lin was able to immediately notice that this dragon was the same one from last time. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly stopped and noticed that there was a green toad in front of the dragon. This toad was about 10 meters tall, and as it kicked off with its back foot, it suddenly moved forward with the dragon chasing behind it. Without a word, Wang Lin sank down in the rock. His divine sense spread out to check out what was going on. He had already finished the seal, and only needed to activate it to leave. Now that he was in no rush to leave, he was interested in what was happening. He saw the red dragon open its mouth and coil up its body. When it uncoiled, it shot forward. It whipped its body to wrap around the toad. The toad suddenly paused as the dragon attempted to walk around it. Suddenly, there was a bright flash from the toad that lit up the whole area. After the light dimmed, there was a ball of lightning around the toad. The red dragon let out a roar and quickly dodged. It seemed to be very afraid of that lightning. Wang Lin took a deep breath. He was shocked. Although the toad's lightning didn't look all that special, it gave Wang Lin the same feeling he got when he encountered the divine retribution lightning for the first time. After seeing the spirit beast souls inside the balls, Wang Lin finally understood why he hadn't spotted any beasts this entire time. This dragon must have gone crazy, killed all the spirit beasts here, and refined their souls into these balls of blood. Wang Lin's expression remained the same in the face of the ball of blood as he waved his hand. There was a sudden flash of light, and a bronze circle appeared. This bronze circle was the size of a bracelet. If one looked at it closely, they would see the faces of hundreds of beasts that looked alive. The moment this bronze circle appeared, all of the beast souls became scared and avoided the circle. It quickly arrived above the toad, became large, and was about to descend. Wang Lin shouted, "If you don't want to die, don't struggle." He then didn't even look at the bronze circle, as his body disappeared within this tunnel. All of this happened very quickly. The dragon would have never thought that Wang Lin would have the ability to leave this place at any time. After realizing that Wang Lin's presence was gone, the dragon let out a roar and a ring of blood expanded. Everything that was touched by this ring was turned to dust. The toad was going to dodge the bronze circle, but after hearing Wang Lin's words, its eyes lit up. Instead of dodging, it jumped into the bronze circle and let it lock around its neck. Just as the red ring got near, the toad disappeared. The dragon's angry roar echoed throughout the tunnel. Wang Lin appeared at the entrance. Just as he appeared, his face immediately turned pale, and he quickly took out several bottles of pills before sitting down to cultivate. Beside him sat a large, green toad. The toad looked curiously at its surroundings. Around its neck was a bronze collar. The mosquito beast noticed Wang Lin's presence and immediately came over. However, it also noticed the toad and growled at it. That toad rolled its eyes and flicked its tongue out. The tongue flew out like lightning toward the mosquito, who dodged it and immediately lunged at the toad with its sharp proboscis. The toad revealed a look of disdain, before its belly suddenly swelled up and a ball of lightning shot out at the mosquito. The mosquito let out a roar as it opened its mouth, spat out 10 golden lines that formed a net, and trapped the ball of lightning. Just at this moment, Wang Lin opened his eyes, frowned, and shouted, "Enough." The toad lazily took in a breath of air and swallowed the lightning again. The mosquito beast viciously stared at the toad, but didn't dare to move closer. There was, after all, an entire grade of difference between the mosquito and the toad. 6 days later, the beast trap started absorbing more spiritual energy, but since Wang Lin was prepared this time, he wasn't afraid. After it stopped absorbing, he swallowed spirit pills to recover his spiritual energy. He then stood up and waved his hand. Suddenly, the beast trap shrank. The toad let out an unwilling roar as it shrank with it before returning to Wang Lin's hand. All of the beast faces were now gone from the bracelet. They were replaced with the face of a toad. After confirming the time intervals in which the beast trap would suck spiritual energy from him, Wang Lin got up and prepared to leave the chaotic broken stars. However, the mosquito let out anxious roars and attracted Wang Lin's attention. He quickly flew to where the golden lines were coming from and stopped. For some reason, a fist-sized rift had appeared again. Wang Lin took a look, then his origin soul left his body and entered the rift. In an instant, he grabbed dozens of golden lines, but just as he was about to leave, something hundreds of times thicker than the golden lines extended from the sun-like object. The moment this thick line appeared, the golden sun shrank a size. Everywhere the thick line went, the other golden lines avoided it. It charged directly at Wang Lin, and before it even got close, Wang Lin felt a destructive force coming his way. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he took a look at this object. He didn't attack, but quickly withdrew his origin soul back to his body and escaped into the distance. The mosquito seemed to notice something as it stared at the golden lines in Wang Lin's hand and followed behind. Wang Lin only backed off a short distance before he heard a thunderous roar and countless swirls appeared next to the fist-sized rift. The swirls spread until they made the rift larger, then the large, golden line charged at Wang Lin. After surrounding the golden lines with his death domain, he took out the mosquito beast and gave them to it. The mosquito beast devoured them one by one. This beast had been very well fed these past few days, as these golden lines were very nutritious. Thanks to these golden lines, the day where it becomes a high-quality spirit beast wasn't far. After leaving the chaotic broken stars, he pondered a bit and then slapped his bag of holding to take out a small cauldron. This cauldron was the thing needed to go to the rain celestial realm, the rain cauldron. This cauldron wasn't very big, it could be held in one hand. It also looked very ordinary with no marks on it, but if one looked with their divine sense, they would notice a sliver of aura that was far more powerful than spiritual energy. This aura was clearly several times more pure than spiritual energy. Wang Lin knew that this was celestial spiritual energy. However, this aura was simply too weak to be used for cultivation. It could only be used as a key to open the celestial gate. After he obtained this rain cauldron, Wang Lin had studied it many times. He looked at it for a while before putting it away. According to what normally happens, once the rain cauldrons appear, that means that the celestial gates are about to open. Many years had already passed since they appeared, so the day should arrive soon. Unfortunately, that messy old man didn't give him an exact time, or else it wouldn't be this complicated. Wang Lin let out a sigh and took out a piece of jade from his bag of holding. He checked it for a bit before jumping onto the back of the mosquito beast, and went toward the direction of Hufen. His next objective was to go into the foreign battleground, to gather enough wandering souls to make more devils, and to make the final preparations for going into the celestial realm. There was a large formation in the center of Hufen. This was a single direction transfer array that opens every 500 years for the disciples that are inside the foreign battleground to return. On this day, a person appeared outside of this formation. This person was wearing white, seemed gentle, and looked like the son of a rich family. His eyes were like the stars and his skin was as white as pearl. He studied the structure of the formation. This person was Wang Lin. It would still be several years before this formation opens, but he couldn't wait all those years. He decided to use this formation, and his status as a soul devourer, as a guide to attempt a reverse transfer. After studying the transfer array for several days, he pondered a bit and then his eyes lit up as he changed the formation a bit and walked inside. He spread out his origin soul as it slowly merged with the formation. The symbols on the formation slowly lit up and gathered on his body. Slowly, Wang Lin disappeared. The moment he disappeared, the formation shattered and couldn't be used anymore. Several years passed. At a transfer array in a rank 3 cultivation country in the south, all of the cultivators gathered there, waiting for a messenger from the rank 4 cultivation country to open up the tunnel to the foreign battleground. Sun Wen was a cultivator from the rank 4 cultivation country of Gong Sunday. He was here to be the messenger. Although he was only at the late stage of nascent soul, his family was a big deal in Gong Sun, so he was sent here to gain experience. Today was the first time he had ever opened the tunnel to the foreign battleground, so he was a bit nervous, but he was mostly enjoying the looks of admiration from everyone else. The sun was high in the sky. Sun Wen was wearing a blue robe, and his hands were behind his back as he sat on a dragon chair that was floating in the air. Beside him stood 2 very beautiful girls. One of them was holding a big umbrella, providing him shade, and the other was holding a blue, porcelain bowl containing ice-cold plum soup. On the ground stood countless cultivators from this country. All of them were focused on waiting for the foreign battleground to open up. Among those people were the elders of various sects and their top disciples. They were going to train inside the foreign battleground in order to raise their cultivation level. Of course, there were also a few disciples that no one liked that were going to be thrown into the foreign battleground to let fate decide their life and death. Time slowly passed. Although it was very hot, since these people were cultivators, their bodies could bear the heat, so they didn't seem tired at all. There were several young disciples that looked up at Sun Wen with looks of admiration. Sun Wen enjoyed these kinds of gazes very much. He waved his hand and one of the girls immediately brought the bowl to him. He grabbed the spoon and ate a plum along with some soup and immediately felt a cool sensation spreading across his body. This plum wasn't a normal plum, but a special herb that grew in Gong Sunday. Just drinking a mouthful would help increase one's cultivation by a considerable amount. This was especially true for specially made soup like this one. It was like the nectar of the plum. There was no doubt that Sun Wen was someone who liked to enjoy himself. As of this moment, 45 minutes had passed. Sun Wen put down the spoon and said, "You all know the rules of the foreign battleground, but I have an extra rule myself. Everything brought out must be examined by me before you can take it. Remember it well." The moment those words were spoken, everyone agreed. However, although some of the nascent soul cultivators agreed, they were all sneering in their hearts. Sun Wen slapped his bag of holding and 5 pieces of jade flew out. He bit his finger and dripped blood on the jades before throwing them forward. Suddenly, the 5 pieces of jade shot out, forming 5 rays of golden light, which then became a circular pattern. He chanted some weird words and the golden light released by the jades intensified. After a few seconds, Sun Wen took a deep breath. Sweat had appeared on his forehead. He took out a jade bottle, dumped out some pills, and ate them as he looked at the jades with a proud expression. The 5 pieces of jade's golden light became brighter and brighter until a vortex appeared in the middle. The vortex devoured the golden light and became bigger and bigger. Not long after, all of the golden light disappeared, leaving only the black vortex, which seemed really out of place. Waves of cold air blew out from the vortex. If one looked closely, they would see broken weapons, scattered materials, and corpses floating on the other side. Sun Wen coughed as the proud expression on his face became more obvious and he said, "Today." Just as he said those words, his eyes suddenly locked onto the black hole and revealed a shocked expression. The person that walked out from the foreign battleground was obviously Wang Lin. After he walked out, He looked confusedly at his surroundings until he focused his gaze on Sun Wen and asked, "This place is Gongsun?" Sun Wen shivered as Wang Lin looked at him. He felt like all of his thoughts had been seen through. He quickly replied, "This place is not Gongsun, but the training location for junior. This is the rank 3 cultivation country of Wu Wen." Wang Lin pondered for a while. He had seen Wu Wen on the map before. This was a small country at the southern end of the planet. The Sea of Devils was half a planet away, so it could be said that the trip back would be very long. Wang Lin had traveled very far in the foreign battleground in order to collect wandering souls. He looked at everyone below him and then disappeared. After seeing Wang Lin leave, Sun Wen let out a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat off his forehead. When he saw this person, he got the same feeling as when he would meet his family's ancestor. He wasn't in the mood for showing off anymore. After quickly leaving behind a few words, he left, as he needed to report this to the family right away. In his view, a soul formation cultivator that could walk out of the foreign battleground must have been someone well known. When Wang Lin reappeared, he was at the top of a mountain. This mountain was called Sky Pisser. It was the highest mountain in this country according to the map. On the top of the mountain, Wang Lin began to ponder. After years of using them, he didn't have many top-quality spirit stones left, and they were very rare in Suzaku. He decided to not use them to travel anymore. He would save them as a last measure. This trip to the foreign battleground was very bountiful. It seemed that when his origin soul formed, his soul devourer power also seemed to have evolved. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.